Hello, welcome back. Last time I did a rigorous process that let me get Hot Zone done, so this whole layer is finished other than the trade that I could do here, which I don't quite have enough prime keys for. I need one more. So today's plan is to use the same process in Drain and see if I can get it to work a second time. I've theoretically fixed up my text field, so now it should behave better. Space at the end, nothing, text here. Now I can click here and actually have the cursor go where it's supposed to. And also, put a bunch of garbage in there, pause, go back here, scroll position is actually remembered. So, hopefully with those two little improvements. Found another bug. Did I? Sort of. Yeah, it never ends. There was a moment when my cursor was up here, but the top line wasn't highlighted. Alright, well, that's for me. Anyway, so, here is Drain. What must I do to finish this room? Okay, let's just look at the state space first. Monster block D must be pushed in water. Okay. Yeah, I can be a little shorter with this. Sure. Monster block D must be pushed into water. And I don't have the confusion of, like, doing things with or without clearing the room. I just clear the room and then it's done here. That's much clearer than it was in Hot Zone. Okay, let's double check that statement. This is solid forever. Everything that is all up in here is solid forever, completely impenetrable. Therefore, the only way this is going away is to be pushed there. That's gravel, it's not hot coals or anything. Okay. To push Monster Block D into water, 610 through 611 must be filled with the other monster blocks because that's the only place they can die. Alright, so let's check this statement. There's a lot packed in there. Number one. Okay, so that being the only place they can die, there are 4 other water tiles in the room. That are as strictly inaccessible as I can... Like, I am 100% sure these are inaccessible to the other monster blocks. Okay. Okay. So yeah, these 4 water tiles get filled, those 3 do not. Okay. To push this in, technically these are not the things that need to be pushed here. Something needs to be pushed in here. Well, I need to stand here, is really the story. If you waypoint there, you can hang on water for a moment, but there's no waypoint there. If you enter from a room edge, you can hang on water for a moment. How would that work? No, that's a waypoint only thing, right? I think. Anyway, so, but that's not applicable here. Okay, to do that, the door at 6-9 needs to be opened. False. That is false. But it will need to be open for me to get back. That's also false. No it's not, because I need to be on the ground here. I need to be on the ground here to push this. If I'm on the ground, there's no means of elevation here. While I could maybe go over this door, and I have in fact done that. I have a replay of that, right? Yeah. I mean, that didn't go all the way, but, like, that would let me go over the door, but not actually useful, as it says. To do the above, the door at 6-9 needs to be open. To open the door, At 6, 9. What has to happen? Toggle switch at 12, 3 must be hit. To hit the switch at 12, 3, I will have to be on the ground. I can only use it once. Door at 10, 5 must be open because, again, have to do something on the ground. Can't elevate in here. This would be closed otherwise, so this has to be open. So same logic as why this door absolutely has to be open. Okay? 10, 5. For door at 10, 5 to be open, pressure plate at 6, 4 must be held by something other than leaf. Because Leaf is the one who's going over here, so he can't be in two places at the same time. At least not in this version of the game. Apparently I'm just going to be sprinkling in hints of future mechanics that may never exist. Just for fun. Because it's fun to talk about possibilities, even if they're not actually going to happen. Or are they? Anyway, so... and this is where things get interesting. So this plate, things that can go on the plate. Multi-push block, leaf, monster block. Monster block may be acceptable. Monster block. Using monster block does not appear to make the room unclearable. So I think that is an acceptable thing to put here. Multi-push block would also be okay as far as I currently know. Now, here's the big question. How do I get a block on 6-4? Okay. So now, I think that's the end of that chain of reasoning. I suppose I could prepend one more item to get the star key. The room must be clear. I mean, to get the star key, you can just walk over here, but to get it and get back, the room must be clear. 2 ornamental rocks. Could they mean something? Not that I can currently perceive. Okay, so... then there's all this. I don't know what the toggle door at 8-5 is for. This, I had a theory that, yeah, using a monster block here is acceptable because of this door. Okay, so now, how do I get an item here? Any item whatsoever. Have I ever had a block there? I think the answer is no. 1 on stack short, 1 stack short. Is this good for something? Yeah, so none of these actually put a block there, right? None of those actually put a block there. Okay, so... approaches to... let's do this in ascending order of usefulness. West and east are equal, so let's do them both at once. right? Rough stone, cannot approach no matter what. North. Okay, so turning the corner is the only way to do that, right? Which also doesn't work, so there is no way to do it, because if I push in from the south, then it's already on there. So 1, you don't need to do anything further. 2, you can't actually put something here without putting something there. And once it's there, why would you push it north? If you want to unpress this for a moment for some reason. Anyway, south. I'm just going to say this. It can only be approached from the south. Now, yeah. That might be useful. By a block. Leaf can get to it from the north. Now, Leaf getting here from the north does mean he gains elevation in a different spot than the other elevation gaining spot, which is harder to use. Yeah, okay. So elevation 2 cannot be achieved as far as I know, but it's not, we're not at that part of the reasoning yet. Okay, so following this chain of logic. So 6-5. I know what I mean, this isn't necessary to note. Can only be approached in the south, 6-5. 6-5 can be approached from west and south and irrelevantly north. But it's irrelevant, so I'm not going to note it. Let's keep the notes at least a little bit compact. 6-5 can be approached from west and south. To approach from west, a block, a stack of 2 blocks, the bottom not being a monster must be at 5-5, and once again going in ascending order of likeliness. This is the way to not do it. With Leaf at elevation 1 at 4-5. So can I prune this by saying it's strictly impossible for Leaf to get to 4-5 with that elevation? I sure can't. Then again, maybe I can. That's fewer blocks than I thought it was. And I would need at least 1 more. Okay, if I had 2 more multi-push blocks, I could do this. Now hold on, does the swizzle help me? I think that still leaves me 1 short, but that is closer. Let's do the swizzle. Ah! That's right, I forgot about that part of that. The swizzle occurs here, I think. Like this or so. I'll do it with a... yeah, this is more convenient. That's not how you swizzle. That could be... well, is there any reason I want to keep that monster block high up? Improbable. Also, this does nothing. No, that's right. I've already looked at this and it does nothing. This does not change my budget in any way. Because this is just as unusable as being stacked the other way. Unless I'm at a higher elevation, which I won't be, so yeah, budget does not change with swizzle. If I unstack the monster blocks, that doesn't help, and I can't unstack this. Yeah, okay. So swizzle doesn't help. Alright, so here's where I start putting percentages on my confidence. 65% on this one. That should be higher, 75%. Alright, 75% confidence that I am not approaching from the west. To approach from south. A stack of 2 blocks. The bottom not being a monster must be at 6, 6. Oops, yes. With leaf at elevation 1 at... that'd be 6, 7? Is that what it is? That's the location? Yes, okay. That looks much more likely. Like, that is nearly within reach as it is, however, not quite. So right, I don't want to use my standable ones for this. That should be... you. Yeah, so 1 block short of being able to just simply do this. Or some way to push... while... where? How? No. I'll say 80%. Really? I'm, like, relatively speaking... well, no, I'm 75% confident that this is impossible, therefore 25% confident that this is the right way to do it. So significantly more than I'm approaching from the south. Feels right, but hard to do. 85%. Do those confidence values do anything? Yes, they're a gauge of my mood. And it's an interesting thing to watch, especially like in Hot Zone. That did something. Right now, well, not right now, but around now, I can do moves that look like this. I can use one thing to get around here. This is not quite where I want to be, though. Can this turn into something useful? How it could, I am currently unable to imagine. But this feels like the kind of area where I need to be playing around. Like, I'm getting the sense that these moves I'm making here are involved in the solution somehow. I just can't teleport around to this side and then push that north. If I could, I'd be done. So going the long way around to the north. Okay, so reaching 6, 7 is very hard to do. Approach from west, seemingly way too far away. Approach from north, has stack of 2 blocks that need to stay there. Approach from south, 1 multi-push block short of working. approach from east. Seemingly impossible with how pressure plate at 9-7 works. Okay. Let's investigate that a little bit harder. Could there be another way to get elevated at, what is that, 8-7? Than to walk from 7-7? Feeling about 15% on that being yes. That might be too high. That's I think 15% is optimistic there. Because how would that happen? So, alright, let's break this down further. I need to be standing here or just have walked here. You just straight up can't do that from the east. From the north, nothing's going to end up on that plate. From the south, nothing's going to end up on that plate. No, it's just from the west. That's the only way. I can't wait here and have that plate fill itself. Plate can't already be pressed. No, that's, okay. Well, this confidence goes down significantly. Here, let's say... Whoa. That's a 98% no. I'm highly confident, but I could believe there's some way to do it somehow. How could I, though? Well, the other way would be to come from elsewhere and walk onto that, but if I'm coming from elsewhere, then I don't need it. Not here, not here, not here. Like, if I'm there, I've already elevated that. Okay, so this goes up another point. There is almost no room for doubt on that. Okay. So approaching from east. Alright, 7-7 cannot have a standable block on it after I've made this move, since I have to do it from the floor. And this action cannot put a block there. That seems true unless I can put a block there from already up high. Now the fact that this could be standable doesn't seem so useful, no. Why is this called drain? I guess this is the drain and I need to wash things down it. Okay, yeah. I don't think that's giving me a clue for anything else. There's nothing interesting about this, right? I don't think so. Not some kind of way to, like, jump over this door, which I could do. I mean, okay, since I haven't actually done that yet. Let's observe using that switch. Gonna have to do that another way. That's fine, I think. Can I get something over there? With effort, yes. With effort, yes. You know what? I don't need those right now. Also, I could have put it in a different spot. Anyway, switch is used. That's what the puzzle would look like. I would drop this. Using switch a second time isn't useful. This door needs to be open. And these would not have to be there in that situation. So So of course there's nothing surprising about that. How could there be? There wasn't really any room for surprises. Okay, so where have I landed at this point? Reaching 6,7 at elevation 1 is very hard to do. That is what I need to do. Okay, so that's a sub-goal, right? Feels right. There's also 4, 5. 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 8, and 9 are not involved. Alright, so one of those. But I'm also only 1 short of that? Is that true? Hold on, let me just double check. I'm 1 short of doing this? Or is it more than 1? It's a lot more than 1. It's 2. Because I would need 1 to bridge here, and then 2 additional ones here and here. Now, with the swizzle, this could have been a monster block, and that multi-push could have been on the floor. That's not quite how that works, is it? Wait, hold on. Oh, am I seeing a new way to swizzle? Nope. Sure I'm not. So, okay. I know what I mean by swizzle, I don't need to specify. It's hard to tell if it's useful or not. It's like in the direction of usefulness, but not quite there. Yeah, so the only monster block that's up high is on a monster block. The only way to get that off is to swap something else for it, and swapping something else for it does not let me use that something. Ooh. Okay. Now hold on. I don't think I can do it, but I'm now thinking of like sinking the bottom monster block to get it out of there. That's another way to make it standable. If this were already open and I pushed that down there, that would be sunk. But no, none of the stuff works out for that. And you know, post-swizzle, that also kind of works. Right, yeah, the useful part is this monster block on that multi-push, not the other way around. The reason that looks useful, even if it's not quite, is because theoretically a structure like this would let me put the monster block on here. And if I'm just 1 short, okay, now hang on, let's phrase this a different way. I still won't be able to actually do this, but this will let me pretend more interestingly. Maybe in the process of pretending I'll see something I wasn't seeing before. Let's put okay. Okay. Cramped space. Who do I want where? I'd like you primed to go on that plate. I'd like you here. You here. You here, you here, and you here. Oh, that's not the layout. No, no, not at all. Completely wrong. Like this. So, ooh. Hey, wait a second. Okay, so that did give me an idea. Ooh, there we go. Okay, I found it. 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 Do the swizzle, but with a target not of another multi-push block. Instead, a target of door. There we go. Alright, so this went outside the rigorous process. That's okay. Do I need to unstack something? No, they stay stacked. Okay, well here we go. This is it. Well, this gets me a step further, and maybe none of the rest of the steps will be issues. So that's on that door now. Is that helpful? Maybe. Okay, so right. So that's a separate step from... Yeah! So now I don't have to stand at 6-7, I can be at 6-6. Rephrase this. Yo, check it out. This feels like a solve. This feels exactly like what a solve feels like. Could run into another stumbling block, but I feel like that was the only one. So the swizzle was not quite directly useful, but indirectly, it totally did what I needed it to do. How about this multi-push block? Is that an issue? It may yet be. Because that's going to get in the way. It can't go in the water. I need that water for these... Ow! These to be able to do what they're doing. I think there might be a fix for this. Not so sure, though. So that door is never... Okay. Well, I guess what I need to do is put that one first, then clamber over it, and push it back out. Like I was saying, use the water to de-elevate the monster block. So that did, in fact, end up being a thing. I'll be able to do this all right. I think so. I should put you in position first. I can do that in the north. That's fine. You're not particularly safe there. Why don't you go... there's probably fine. Okay, if you're going to the north, you need to do it like this. Just get ready. Be here. Clamber over. I needed a second monster block to have been in there. Oh, how would that happen? Uh-oh! That's a problem. Oh, that's not so straightforward. That would imply elevation, wouldn't it? No, right, of course I can't bring that back. Because yeah, so here's the issue with doing this. I run out of water. You have nowhere to go now. Okay, so we run into a second issue. Here, let me do a thing. Before I overwrite it. Played at 6-4 helped. That didn't save, I pressed the wrong button. Ooh, interesting. Help. So if I press the... Okay, I should do something here. The pause button, while naming a new replay, should not just close the menu without saving it. Yeah, that would be surprising if I didn't catch it. Okay, danger of lost data. I will make a tweak. Anyway, so with that plate held, it was necessary to have done that swizzle, because without this block insulating my feet, I would have been eaten by this monster. So I'm stuck with you in that formation. If I try to do this... Here's how far I'll get. Ow. Farther than that. That's in my way. Okay. So, for the secondary problem, what do I do? Here, I'm gonna stash you in this cave. Okay, so now I'm still one unstack short. The doors are all different. Is it now that I can maybe actually do something with elevating a block? I don't see how that would help me. The only way to make this safe to walk on is if it goes in water. It can't go in this water. If it goes in this water, there's nowhere for me to stand there to push that multi-push north. No other angles. No, I still have a big problem here. Because yeah, your burden, you gotta drop that burden. How? Where? This is the only thing left that's elevated. That can be too. I guess these two can be too. Okay, now hold on. So right, here's a case where I actually have a block. The block can go up, but only on a 1x1 door, so I'm not getting it up and then pushing it afterward. Maybe? Okay. Like some other way to get... Right, so that's what would be useful about an elevated block. If I could get a monster up over top of this now... Yeah, if I could do that. Hold up, maybe I can. There's potential. Yeah, so this is the correct state, I think. Because now I'm able to walk through here without any, without doing anything in this area. So I think I have an extended stacking mechanism, technically. Yeah. Yeah. I have just enough for a bridge. Okay. Think I solved my problem? Here we go. Here we go. With you stacked, now I rephrase my bridge. And kind of get stuck, huh? Okay, I need to rephrase a little differently. This is correct, I believe. This should be correct. And that last monster block is my friend who gets me all the way where I need to be. Once again, using every piece of the puzzle. Love it! Okay, that's a win. Okay, the process worked again. Yay! Drain is done! Okay! So that's 2 for 2 on using the process and actually getting a thing to work. Well, looking good so far. What are my other stuck points? Big surprise. Okay, this feels like the next one to apply this to. And then Dreamers. After that... are there any star keys around here? There's one in Secret Stash. 4 in Secret Stash, actually. Like, I can have these star keys. I can go other places, but... I don't know, I'm kind of riding high on my victory now. And I want to do these two. Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, so just, like, knuckle down and get really textual with it. Write things, look at every little piece in extreme detail, answer questions, true, false, confirm, deny, all those things. Alright, next time, the process in Big Surprise.